What if the life you thought you knew was built on a complete lie? We're going to dive into a story that starts out picture perfect, but ends with a truth that just shatters everything. So, this is where our story starts, in that comfortable, safe place where everything feels solid and predictable. That feeling of a normal family. It's the foundation of your whole world, right? But what happens when you find out that foundation is made of sand? It's always just one thing, isn't it? One moment that draws a line in your life. There's the before, when you thought you had it all figured out. And then there's the after, when you realize you didn't know anything at all. So let's explore that before, the perfect illusion. This was the world our narrator, a kid named Rohan, lived in. And it was all built on one simple belief, that his family was as perfect as it gets. I mean, look at this. A loving mom, a caring dad, a peaceful home. For Rohan, who's 17, this wasn't just a good life. It was his entire universe. This was his identity, and he had absolutely no reason to doubt any of it. But here's where the first little crack starts to show. You know that creepy feeling you get that the things that look the most perfect on the outside are often the best at hiding the darkest secrets? Well, for Rohan, that idea is about to get way too real. And this is how it usually starts, right? Not with some big explosion, but with these quiet whispers, little things that you brush off. But then you start connecting the dots, and a really disturbing picture starts to form. It begins with sounds you're not supposed to hear. Late-night phone calls when the house should be silent. The voices are hushed, just loud enough to make you wonder, but too quiet to give you any real answers. And then there's that feeling. Oh, it's the worst. You walk into a room, and the conversation just stops. Dead. The air gets all thick, and you just know you weren't meant to hear what they were talking about. All of a sudden, your own home feels like it's hiding something from you. And then, bam, he overhears it. A little piece of an argument between his parents. His mom's voice, all stressed out. We can't hide it forever. And just like that, it's not a feeling anymore. It's real. There is a secret. And now, he's got this one question just eating him alive. It's not just a vague suspicion anymore, it's an obsession. Hide what? What could possibly be so that they have to hide it from their own son?
So of course, he tries to ask them, but they just kind of smile and change the subject. And when you can't get answers, your mind, it latches onto something. For him, it became this one locked drawer in his dad's study. It became the symbol of everything he didn't know.
I mean, think about that. In your own house, a place where you know every nook and cranny, there's this one spot that's completely forbidden. It's more than just a locked drawer. It's a locked piece of his life. And that mystery, it's just pulling him in. This is all building to that one moment. You know the one. His parents are out, the house is quiet, the opportunity is just sitting there. He's about to do something he's always known he shouldn't. And he's not just breaking a lock. He's breaking the trust his entire life has been built on. And there it is. He does it. He breaks the lock. That sound, that crack, it's the sound of his old life ending. There's just no going back from this. You can just imagine his hands shaking as he pulls it open. And look what's inside. It's not just one thing. It's a whole collection of secrets, old documents, weird photos, and then he sees it, the thing that makes his heart stop, a file with his name on it. This is it, the moment right before everything falls apart. He opens that file, and every single thing he believed about himself, about his family, about his life, just collapses. So what was it? What could possibly be that bad? Well, the documents inside told a story, piece by piece, that was so much worse than anything he could have imagined. And here's the kicker. It wasn't just one secret. It was two. Okay, so here's the first punch. He was adopted. The people he's called mom and dad his whole life aren't his biological parents. Just imagine that for a second. Your entire identity, your whole history, gone. That alone is enough to break you. But hold on. Just as he's reeling from that, trying to even process it, he realizes there's more. The story gets even darker. There's another layer to this whole thing. And this is the knockout blow. All those old yellowed newspaper clippings in the file, they suddenly make sense. They're about a crime. And the man they're looking for is his biological father. So not only is he adopted, but his actual bloodline is tied to something awful.
After this huge, painful confrontation with his parents, where they admit everything, he's just broken, angry, lost, you name it. But this is where the story pivots. Because after the shock wears off, he starts to look at it differently, and he starts to figure out what family really means.
And this is where he starts to piece things back together. On one side, you have the secret, this painful past, this biological connection to a criminal. But on the other side, you have the truth, a loving family that raised him, the man he has a biological connection to versus the man who is actually his dad every single day. He realizes that blood isn't what makes a family, love does. And that's the final piece of the puzzle. That moment of clarity, all that anger he felt toward them just melts away. He realizes they weren't trying to betray him. They were trying to protect him. It was their clumsy, maybe flawed way of giving him a happy, normal life, away from the shadow of his past. So yeah, Rohan's old world completely fell apart. But in its place, he built a new one, on a foundation that was actually real this time. The secret was devastating, but finding it out, it let him truly understand how much his parents loved him. Which kind of leaves us with this big question, doesn't it? Sometimes the truth hurts, a lot. But maybe, just maybe, it's the only thing that can actually set you free.